And with that, of course, we all know that in data science domain, to get a job, it's not easy. We are into this new world where we are innovating new things, but that doesn't mean that we should forget our traditional research. So one important thing in data sciences is all about traditional way of analyzing the data. So one mantra for all this is we have to be educated all the time. Like we have to know we can build a connection and we'll be able to understand what is going on with their organization. But it's not easy, to get some referral. What exactly you want to achieve when you enter fourth year? If your mind is not clear in first year, like after 2 or 3 months, so that is a corporate job where you can expect more salary than IT. And in data science domain, if we want to start our career, of course, we have to go in that particular roadmap itself. I'm working on a data now. You are also working on the same data. The way you do the analysis is different. The way I do the analysis is different. For me, I'll go and check for my organization who are the competitors, what new things they are getting, and what I can do myself. So it's not just about a coding part here. A person should have equal knowledge on technical and non-technical skills, and also you will completely be in that comfort. If you are getting some new challenges, it is fine. But if you are not getting any new challenge, then it's a time for you to learn the things and to proceed further in your future. I was working as a HR, I was working as a project manager, I was working as a developer also. I was also working as, a business development executive. But let me tell you, degree paper or if it is master's, it will decide your future.
Today, we have special guest Meghna Gowda. Meghna has worked as a data analyst at Flipkart and now is a senior analyst at Merck Group. She studies electronics and telecommunication engineering at KS Institution of Technology in Bengaluru. In this podcast, she shares her valuable knowledge about the data science industry. Let's give a warm welcome to Ms. Meghna. Hello, Meghna ma'am. How are you?
Yes, thank you so much, Chaitanya. And yes, I'm good. How are you?
I am.
So we wanted to discuss on data analytics and data science related quick question and answer kind of questions. And yes, we'll do that today.
So my first point of discussion is about your educational background and professional journey. We want to know more about how was your education journey started and how you ended up your education journey and how you get into a professional journey and how was your professional journey right now going on.
Okay, so to quickly answer your question, I completed my Bachelor of Engineering and it's from KSIT College and it's in Bangalore. Even I'm based out of Bangalore. To be honest, to answer your question, I can tell you that I started my career when I was in third year itself because I've taken electronics and communication. I'm not from computer science, but the main reason of choosing this ECE is because we have a combination of hardware and the software together here. Automation and the tools, we are implementing the software on hardware. So keeping this concept in mind, I just wanted to join ECE so that it will be useful for me in my professional career also. And when I was in third year and it was a COVID time, first year I did a classroom training. Second year also, half of my second year I did my classroom training, but after that it was a COVID situation. It was completely online. And then in the third year, even it was still a COVID situation, but I got selected in Flipkart as a data analyst. I started my career as a data analyst in data science domain. Now I'm working as a data scientist in Merck. And the first, yes, of course, it's in Flipkart. It's an e-commerce platform, like everyone knows about it. I worked there for almost 1 year. And the Merck Life Science, it's a life science based pharmaceutical company. After 1 year of working in Flipkart, I got selected in Merck as a senior data analyst. And then I started, working with the Merck. It's been almost 3+ years now. I'm a data scientist at Merck.
It's great to know about the educational journey and professional background so far. In the next step, we want to know more about the your current company and the current job role right now, and what is your day look like? Means what is your roles and responsibilities at your job?
So to talk about it as a data analyst, so when I started my career, completely it's a fresh mind. Before, to be honest, yes, I wanted to mention, before I start my career in data analyst, I worked as a data scientist intern for 1 year. When I got an opportunity like a live training, like a live virtual training, which was happening due to COVID, I took that as an advantage where I was able to opt for an online internship. And that was completely an online for 1 year as a data scientist intern. I worked in that organization. Again, it's in Bangalore. It's a data mine. So after learning the things over there, like after doing certain projects there, I got to know how a data scientist work will be. And with that, of course, we all know that to get a in data science domain, to get a job, it's not easy because, it requires, experience because people will not hire freshers. they need to train freshers, they need to invest some amount over there. They are not ready for that. Nobody will be, happy to spend once after they hire someone, right? They will train, but not to depth. And that was one drawback with data science career, I can say. And I did almost 1 year of, data scientist internship where I learned many things. As soon as I completed my internship, I started looking for a job. And in data science domain, if we want to start our career, of course, we have to go in that particular roadmap itself. And that's a data analyst where I got selected in Flipkart. As a data analyst, I used to work with data. Without data, of course, we won't be able to create or do any reports, or we cannot build any kind of models. That one thing we all know. And there, it's a completely e-commerce data where I was working. If you know about, in most of the e-commerce applications, they will be giving discounts. They will be having some coins where we can utilize it. If we are purchasing a lot, if I'm purchasing a product worth 1,000 rupees, I may get 100 coins back. And that 100 coins, I'll be able to utilize it in the next product which I'll be purchasing. That will be converted to amount. And that amount conversion, that data we used to collect and we used to work. And based on different regions, we used to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, different regions, we used to split it. Clustering model, we already know, right? Like a K-means clustering model we have, or clustering based on the geographical data we used to do. And then I was working on that project. As soon as I complete that, I started working on certain web pages and how the customers are getting, customer retention, customer segmentation. So I used to, most of the scenarios, in most of the situation, I used to work on unsupervised machine learning data itself. So after working on different data types and after working on structured and unstructured data, after creating the reports, we go and build a model. So as a data analyst, we'll be completely concentrating on data cleaning, report building, data visualization, working with different types of data. See, as a data analyst, completely you are into analyzing the data, doing certain research on the data. And of course, like we're going to write the SQL code to extract the data from different databases. So here also I used to go with SQL, Python, Power BI, Adobe Analytics, and different data tools for data modeling purpose I used to use. That's a completely company related tools, which I cannot name it here. And yes, these are the tools which I was using. As soon as I got to know that there are a few more, tools which are available where we can utilize it and make sure certain automations can be done. So we did that automation also by integrating different tools together, where we are creating an automated report for every weekend. Like when we go on a leave, we need some new reports to be coming up on Monday. Usually it will take 1 or 2 days of time to extract the data on certain tools. So we did an automation over there to import the data directly to our report, where we, once after I log in, I need to see the updated dashboard results, whatever happened in the weekend. And certain automations we used to do as a data analyst. So this was how, the day went there. It was a good journey in Flipkart for almost 1 to 1.5 years where I worked. So this is how, as a data analyst, it works.
So very amazing thing that you said, the actual ground level reality of the company, what employee to do. Because the thing is, my aim of the starting of this podcast is to show the aspirants or the students the ground reality of the employees, or the what they have to actually do. Because see, when you go to the coaching or you follow any influencer, they told you about the tools and techniques, but no one shows you the ground reality. Only the employees of that company, they only shows the reality. They can tell you that, yeah, if you have the skill, then you can only come to here. Okay, but this is my main aim of the channel, and you explain it very wonderful, very amazing way.
Thank you so much. And yes, it requires the tools we all know, right? Everywhere you will see the report. You will see some advertisements going on. You must know Excel, you must know SQL, you must know Python. That's all true, but how are you going to use it?
So, Meghna ma'am, my next point is that you are from electronics background, right? Yes. So, at what point of your life you get to know that, the Miss Meghna is made for the day to become a data analyst?
Okay, so to be honest, when I did my PUC, in the sense in Karnataka we say PUC, in other states it's 11th and 12th. Even I did my 11th and 12th, that is PCMC. I'm from computer science background only. But when I was into computer science, data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, this trend came into picture. Then I can say it as trend. I can tell you that this is a learning opportunity what people are getting. There are some innovations which is happening. To be honest, from past, it's 2024 now. If I just go back 10 years ago, like 2014 or 2013, we were not having so many smartphone options, or we were not able to see, so many automations, or, automated vehicles, or automated things. It has been the new things which is coming up. And this is completely based on ML, completely depending upon the data itself. When I got to know this situation, I wanted to go with electronics, where I can learn about both electronic related things and also regarding CS. It is a combination of both hardware and the software tool. This I just got to know about this complete background when I was in PU, when I was doing my second PU, I can say 12. So as soon as that, I just got my results, and I almost got 89% in my second PU, 12th basically, and even in 10th also it was 90 plus only. So with this graduation marks, I was looking for a very good college, and I got it near my home itself. And then I started my career there in electronics only, because I wanted to know more about how hardware is being implemented with the software, how it is possible for us to know more about electronics so that we can invent some new things. Of course, alone I cannot invent anything. I want to go and collaborate with some other organization where I can utilize my skills over there, and I can innovate some things. I just wanted to do that, where data science really helped me a lot to work upon data. And my mindset is something like a research mindset. I always wanted to investigate things. From my childhood, I want to investigate. It's something like, a CID mindset, where people will investigate the things, by taking some references. Even my mindset was that. It was completely correlating with data science. You don't believe, when I wanted to join electronics or when I wanted to join data science, I did research in such a way that almost 3 to 4 months of research I was doing by looking into all other websites. Because I'm not something, from a rich family, because, I can invest everywhere for the course. I was not into that situation. Wherever I'm investing, I want to invest it. I want to learn the things. So I research on multiple websites to understand what is data science. I literally have a book with me all the time where I'll be writing, what roadmap do I need to follow? Because few people will grasp the things easily. Few people may not be able to do that. So according to me, if I write it once, then I'll be able to remember. I won't be carrying the book, but I need to have my book. I mean, carrying in the sense, yes, it will be with me, but I want to write it once and keep it. I know that I will not go back and verify, but after 1 or 2 years, I need to go back and check what I have done before. So I always keep a book with me and a pen with me before I attend any seminars, webinars. Before I go to my work, I'll do that. And yes, this helped me to understand what is data science, what is the complete roadmap I designed myself. And after designing it, I went, searching for, some good organization where I can join as an intern to learn the things. And luckily I got, near to Bangalore only, I just got that institute, and that startup company as well, a data science related startup company. And I joined there first as an intern. It's almost 1 year of journey where I learned the things and I also implemented over there. With this, because of this research mindset, because of learning mindset, and also to invent new things, if you have that in mind, you can utilize that in data science.
So ma'am, it's really important that you talk about the research. Okay, in this field you have to do the research, then only you can make the mistakes, and from that mistake only you get to learn. And that is the main part of this industry, or the data analytics part. The very important point you said, that you can research everything, how it is happening and what it is happening. Just don't go with the flow that everyone is doing and why I should do. And second important point, the important is, in this era of the digital, you are still using the book, you are still believing the writing the things. That is very important, because see, our mind is like, yeah, absolutely, we forgot how to write in this era, literally.
True.
Or we don't even, for the books also, we go through the e-books. We don't the physical book. But it's very important. From our childhood, we go from the books only till 10th standard or 11th standard. We can write with pencil only. How our brain start working, like grow from the books and these things only. When you go through this, you will grasp the more things. And the one thing I like about reading the books about is, you start visualizing everything once you start reading the book. That is more important in our field, because our field is to visualize the things, what you are doing. It is very important. So your visualization power of your brain is also increases, and you start loving it to do the visualization in your mind.
I do attend some webinars. I'll be taking some webinars and seminars. I'll be instructing all the students. I know that this is a digital world. People will go to Notepad, workbook, or document, PDF, something. When I was doing my engineering, I used to get my notes, PDF only. But I used to go back and take the Xerox. I used to write the things. See, let me tell you, we are into this new world where we are innovating new things. But that doesn't mean that we should forget our traditional research. So one important thing in data sciences is all about traditional way of analyzing the data. This itself a concept. Before we start with the machine learning algorithm creation or a machine learning model creation, we have this traditional way of analyzing the data. So we don't forget, how we used to analyze back in 1950. The stats and probability started over there, and we are making use of it, and that's called as traditional research in ML. I mean, I'm not talking about, others should also follow me. I'm not telling that. According to me, if I write it once and if I keep it, it will be with me and I will remember the thing. It's not remembering, but yes, I will know the things better. I can, innovate it, or according to me, I can create my own roadmap. If you know your capability, according to that, you will be able to do something. If I know my capability again, I'll be able to create my own roadmap and I can work according to me so that it is feasible for me. I'll prepare my own timetable to do, or I'll be having my own things. No, like I need to divide it according to this time slot, and I need to do that. So writing or keeping a note of all the points is really important to me. And one thing what I have learned from one of my manager is all about always carry a book and a pen with you whenever you are attending any meetings. We know that we are into digital world, or it's all people will be like, I have a laptop, I'll make a note of it and other things. But to become a professional person, or not just behaving, we have to be professional. For that purpose, we have to carry a book which shows genuinely that we are interested in work, what we are doing. That completely shows, we have to be again. So I always make a note of all the points. Even though I'll not write completely, I need to have that key points or keywords to be available in my notebook every time, which will enhance my memory. And also I can think even after my working hours what I can do with that.
Of our physical mentality things, that our sensation part, that also helps us to keep on our mind, because the writing where we sense the touch the pen or the pencil, we write, the ability of our mentalities become more increasing, and we more think about that, even go through the just scrolling to the tab or anything. So it's very important that you should go through the books whenever it is possible. That ChatGPT is good for us, but don't go search how to write the email on ChatGPT. It's like that.
Yes, similarly, because see, at least key points we should write it, right? We are here to do the task, we are here to be professional, and we have to have that some courtesy, to make a note of the points whatever we are working. Why to completely depend upon the product what we have developed? As a humans, we developed it, isn't it? Why again going back and asking it something? You designed it, right? So you have to have that knowledge with you before you design something.
Exactly. Very important. Yeah. So ma'am, you are from the big background, like from the working in the card and now working in this company. So we want to know more about in the COVID phase. Okay, the COVID phase is not easy because the recession is going on. There are so many companies are shifting from the India, going back to their countries. In that year, how you go through your job application process? What steps and was your entire the interview process? What things you keep in the mind while going through your resume or the job description? How you face the interview and how you get selected? Please share us more tips about it.
So to talk about the COVID, let me tell you, COVID is one of the disaster which we all know. And yes, there were some jobs, so many companies got shut down, and recession time it was. And yes, it's a difficult one, but let me tell you, because of COVID, there are so many companies which comes into picture, and all the healthcare related companies, online platforms, digital world got increased, like digital opportunities got increased, e-commerce, applications got increased, and the healthcare domain again, it got increased. Like there are so many opportunities which came in, so many opportunities we lost. Again, there are something which came in. So one mantra for all this is we have to be educated all the time. Like we have to know what is the new technologies which is coming in. If I'm a web developer, I should not stop myself to be as a web developer. I should know what are the new tools which is coming in the industry. I need to have that knowledge. When you are growing and you are learning the things together, it will really help you to gain more knowledge. Where if this is not your position, if there is a recession happening in the organization, if you have a very good skills, then of course they will not leave you just like that. They need people, but they are making few people to stop, or they are out of 100 members, they are only keeping 20 members. Of course, out of 100 members who are very good performers, they're gonna retain them, right? So here also same thing. We have to always grow and learn the things. There is no limit for learning. Each and every day we can see new technologies are coming in. We have to develop ourselves. How we learn to first standard for 1 year, second standard for 1 year, till almost 13 years we studied, from baby nursery or LKG, UKG until 10th. Almost we spent 12 to 13 years in learning. Here also we should not stop ourselves. We have to keep on learning the new things, and we have to grow. That is the only option to sustain in the corporate world, whether it is with COVID or without COVID. We have to learn the things. We have to educate ourselves with the new skills. That's all. That's what I always suggest people. Today, okay, fine, you didn't know what is SQL, you learned it now. What is the next step which you can do? What next thing you can learn with SQL? What is the next option you have after learning SQL? So you should be prepare yourself for next at least 1 or 2 years. I know that I cannot predict, or I cannot say my long term goal, like what I will do after 5 or 10 years, but I can say what next year I'll be doing or what I can do for next 2 years. So a short-term goal, we should be very clear. Long-term goal, you should keep in your mind and you have to work accordingly. And
Yes.
to talk about the resume, yes, I personally used Novo Resume. It's a website. It's a very good website which I can suggest people to use that, because one page of resume you can create it for free. And Novo Resume is that website what is available. It is designed in such a way that it is crisp and clear, and it is designed according to the automated trackers, the resume checker what the organizations are using. So according to that only they have prepared it, and it's a very good resume, and that really helped me. Now also I'll be using the same website to prepare my resumes, and it will really help. And yes, when you know that you are applying for a particular job role, for example, you are applying now for a business analyst position, you know what is the job description of business analyst. According to that job description only, I request people to prepare the resume, and the keywords whatever you are using, it should be specific keywords, like the technical terms they need to use whenever they are explaining the project, or the skills what is been expected according to the job description. We need to prepare the resume. If I want to become a data scientist, then my resume should match the data scientist profile. Or else if I simply create my own words or whatever I have, okay, whatever you have done before, mention it as per the data scientist role, so that it will enhance your resume's skill set, or it will bring your profile to the higher rank, and you will be get selected. First thing is resume should get selected, and later people will call you where you can to them. They will understand, okay, fine, he or she knows about it according to their job description. When they discuss with you, the first round will be always on call. They will check what are your skills, what are the technical skills you have, or whatever the non-technical skills they will check on call itself, will it match the job description. Even after checking the resume, they will personally call you to check, so you have to match it accordingly. One important thing is, whenever you receive the phone call to giving your information, directly ask them, can you please let me know your job description, so that you will be able to understand, will it match. You will get to know whether they're going to call you back for the second round or not. So that job description and your resume should match, and in this way you will be able to understand the job description of the organization if they send you the job description again to your email ID, so that you will be able to understand, okay, this is the roles and responsibility what I need to know if I want to go for the second round over there, what the organization is expecting. Because sometimes what happens is, they'll give a general description in LinkedIn or Naukri or any other portal where they are mentioning that there is some openings. They will just give the general job description, not the exact roles and responsibilities. But if you want to know that, whenever you receive a call, after giving the information, ask them to send the job description, so that it will be useful. So this one thing I can say. And yes, because of COVID, there were so many recession and new jobs. Let me tell you, so many startups came in, so many new job opportunities came in.
I have one question regarding the job application thing, that nowadays the students are saying that the platform like Naukri.com or the LinkedIn are getting too much crowded. So what is your view that many of the teachers and the professionals telling that instead of going through the LinkedIn or the Naukri, you can check their description and search the company on the LinkedIn, go in their connections like employee, and ask for the referral if you have any mutual friends or the thing. So how it is work, means what is the percentage of it the employee will respond us, and he or she will help us for the referral thing?
See, let me tell you my own experiences. Naukri is something acts like a third party between you and the organization. Now, for example, if I'm working in ABC organization and I'm an employee, if I want to get a job there, Naukri acts as a third party where I will be applying it on Naukri to that particular organization. Some third party payroll HR will contact me, and then they will navigate, me towards that organization. It may be via contract position, or it can be a full-time opportunity. And to discuss on this Naukri or LinkedIn, see, let me tell you, of course, both are, it's getting crowded. And if you want to go with some big MNCs, of course, you need to know a few people, the connections or referrals, or if you are in any of your family member are working there, it will be easy. I'm not telling no, but for me, none of my family members are working in any IT organization. So Naukri helped me to get a job in Flipkart. LinkedIn, in the sense, one of my organization manager, he connected with me. I mean, I was just checking with the options like opportunities, and I got to know that there was an open position. But I don't know, like, luckily I just got a call from them only directly, even though I didn't apply there. And then, I shared the resume directly to the manager, and it is completely different. As you mentioned, like, we can connect with the people there, we can share the resume, and we may get even the referral option also. But it's not that everybody will help us, or it's not that everybody will have time to, take your resume and put it in the portal. It's not easily possible. If only manager, if you know any of the top top managers in the organization, then they can help you. If it is a simple employee who is in role 1 or role 2, they may not be able to process your resume directly to the TL, or they cannot do that. Only TLs or some lead managers, they can take up those referrals and they can make you to get a job. So we are connecting people, and yes, we can build a connection and we'll be able to understand what is going on with their organization. But it's not easy to get some referral or some strangers as a strangers to consider to please share my resume there, consider it as a referral. I cannot ask stranger to do that. I can ask their help. I can take some guidance, or few people, they are sharing their thoughts in groups, in LinkedIn groups also, but I don't think so it works maximum. It's better that if you prepare your resume properly, you start applying it on LinkedIn also, you start applying it on Naukri also, or there are some in LinkedIn also there are some groups where they will be mentioning email ID as well. You can start posting, sharing to their mail ID whatever they have mentioned, and start applying even in the websites, like the organization website, the career portal also we can start applying. But yes, everywhere it is crowded. It somewhere you need to have a very good skills. With that, you should also have some luck to get into a big MNC.
So very important point to say that while going from the referral thing, you can choose the manager or the anything that are good connecting with you on the
and
LinkedIn.
Also right people. Few people are here for time pass also, as this is a social media. It's getting become it's like an Instagram now, where people are posting some fun videos as well, some professional things as well. So we have to connect with the right people. That is one important thing what I can say. So it's not that we'll be always, we have to help. I'm not saying we should not help, but you cannot expect every time a positive response, or you cannot always expect you are hired. We cannot always expect that email from other things. So you should have connection. You should build connection in a good way, so that in one or the other day, of course, it's good to get a job.
Because I also personal experience of this, that I have the one connection on LinkedIn is of director of the one of the big 4 company. Okay. And her connection is like around just 200 or 250. Okay, but she's a direct. One time I saw the job role and asked her that for the referral thing, and she just responded me, yes, no anything, no anything. So I thought that she's ignoring me. But after that, within the half hour, I received a call from their HR.
Okay, that's good.
Those who posted their job. She directly asked me, HR, that how got this inquiry from our team in my team, and please send us our resume. Unfortunately, I don't crack that job role.
Okay. It happens. See, a few people are here to help us, and we cannot see their connection count or something. If they are genuine, if their account is genuine, it's good to go ahead. See, we are trying. We are not sitting quiet. We are trying maximum what we can do. Whether we're gonna get it or we may not be able to get it is the next thing which we need to check. So first, try.
Exactly.
How practice makes man perfect.
If you go with the proper tick or every roadmap, like I have first applied on the website tick, then I will ask for the referral. I will contact the HR. You can go with the everything. See, we don't know that which thing will be act as a positive and that will help you for that. So we don't know about anything.
That's true. It happens. Even I have faced, what to say, like I've connected with so many people, and I can see few of some of the accounts, it was completely fake, where they will take your number, they will say that they will call you and you have to call them multiple times. I've seen so many situations, but yes, we should not stop, and we have to go in a positive way, and we have to start applying wherever we get an opportunity to do that. Then in one or the other day, of course, you will be getting it.
So Meghna ma'am, my next point of discussion is about the thing we are doing the job to feed ourselves, feed our family and the things. So I want to know that what is the salary range of the data scientist or the data analyst right now in India 2024 going on, and how it varies from the different metro cities, and also tell us the difference that how it varies in the like service-based MNC companies, product-based and the startup.
So to talk about, the salary, to be honest, now 2024 graduates, the fresh graduates, they can expect, I'm talking about data science domain. If you are looking for a job in data science domain, and if you are a fresher, if you are in some cities like a metro cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, or Mumbai or Pune. So if these are the cities, if you are living in these cities, then you can expect minimum of 5 and the maximum of somewhere 6 to 7. This is the, range of a fresher. But let me tell you, fresher in the sense, not completely blank or not having any idea about the job role. It's not like that. You must have completed some certifications on this data science portfolio. Like you should do certain projects, or during your internship, if you have the same domain knowledge, then you will be able to start your career in data science domain. As I mentioned you in the beginning, it is quite difficult for a fresher to get a job in this domain because people cannot spend. It's one of the expensive course. People expect at least minimum of 2 years of experience experience. For you to get a job, at least, by keeping internship, certifications or internship experience, you can expect 5 lakh, minimum of 5 lakh, and maximum will be, of course, it can be 6 to 7, or it may even more than that. But if you are having at least 2 to 3 years of experience, then you can expect almost up to 10 to 11 you can expect. And if it is a project based company, like if it is a service based company, somewhere it is less compared to corporate jobs. See, people do get confused with this IT, corporate, and non-corporate. So this IT is all about a service based company. If people say that they are working in IT company, that means it is a service based company. Corporate, in the sense, it's like where you are working for the same company. For example, now you are working for a Microsoft is a product based company. Also, they have certain services going on, but it is specifically it is specifically a product based company where everyone knows you are working for your own product. You are not working for any other product apart from Microsoft there. So that is a corporate job where you can expect more salary than IT. Okay, if it is a project based company, means you are getting projects from other companies and you are working for them. Somewhere you have very less exposure towards some product. You just work with the data, you just do the project, and you will leave. If you really want to expose more towards the work, then I suggest people to go for some manufacturing related or manufacturing related, in the sense it can be any kind of manufacturers like electronics or medicine related or some life science, pharma. There are so many product based companies. So I suggest people they can go and they can select any of the corporate jobs. If it is IT, you're completely go, sit, work with the data, what you are getting, close it, leave. This is how it works in IT.
And what about startups?
In startups also, like you can work for some big clients. You will also be working in startups. Somewhere you can expect more salary compared to big MNCs, because startup people are ready to invest. If it is a good startup, again, because there are some startups which is fake also, which I have personally experienced. So we have to be very careful when we are joining startups. Again, we have to go and check all the rules and responsibilities, and their policies also we must be aware of. Not just few people say startups will give us more because they want you to work more. Again, they expect more work, and yes, they will pay. Again, we have to be very careful when we are joining some startups, especially 5-10 members or 15 members, 20 members, and it's completely virtual, means we have to be very careful.
So my next point of discussion is about Meghna ma'am, that you have done the internship like 1 year, 12 months. Okay. So many of the students get confused about the internship. Is that first thing is that for how many months they have to do the internship, or the 3 months, 6 months, or the 1 year, and what is the good time or the perfect time when they are college students to do the internship?
Thank you. So one thing what I want to mention is, if a student is from engineering background, for them internship is compulsory. They expect internship certificate to be submitted in 7th sem. That means in the 4th year. And why internship is compulsory for them is, internship will be considered as one subject for them. So they expect 3 months of internship minimum, and you can do maximum of how many months? 1 year, 2 year, or even it depends upon a person. So I started my internship when I was in 2nd year. Once after you start your degree, or engineering degree, you will be able to understand. First 2 months will go, because you will be exposure to all different domains. Like, as I'm from electronics department, I will know how CS department works, how mechanical department works. I will be knowing, because I'll be studying all the subjects. By this time, you should clear your mind that what exactly you want to achieve when you enter 4th year. If your mind is not clear in 1st year, like after 2 or 3 months, then it is very difficult to get a job when you reach 4th year. Few of my friends, they were not much into this, or they only started, concentrating on jobs once after they reach 4th year. And it was bit, they were not getting a good job, or the package was less, and they were not able to crack some interviews. So they faced this issue. And to be honest, I didn't get a job from my college side. I started because in 3rd year itself, I just got a job, and it was not from my college side. Based on the experience, did my 1 year of internship. Because of that experience itself, I started, applying for all the jobs which comes under data science only. Because as a fresher, you cannot expect a data science job. And people who will, the organizations who will come to colleges, they will hire for engineer positions only, like a junior engineer or some executive. This kind of positions you will get. And it's not my cup of tea, to be honest, because I love this profession. So that kind of, mindset, and that was completely into my mind. I'm into data science profession and I just want the same job. I don't want to take up any other things. And then I started, searching when I was in third year itself. Luckily, I got selected and I didn't apply any of the jobs which was coming to my, colleges. And yes, 2 to 3 different colleges, we used to gather together for some opportunities if it is going on, but I never threw any kind of job fair. With my experience only, I started applying it everywhere and I got selected. That is one thing, but I suggest people to clearly understand what they are studying first, whether it is BCom, BCA, BBM, engineering, or it can be any. There are so many courses now. Earlier it was very less, but now there are so many courses. Whichever course you are choosing, you have to go accordingly. If not, you are losing your 4 years if you are from engineering, or else if it is some 3-year degrees, means you are losing your 3 year. So please concentrate on that before you select something. Please do some research on that. If you are choosing BCom, then what do you want to become? Like after 3 years of completion, what do you want to become? Do you want to go in accounts line, or do you want to start your own business, or do you want to go towards banking industry or retail industries where you will work with some accounts? So you have to be very clear. If you are not clear in first year, then it's very difficult to get a job in third year or fourth year. So have a clear vision, go according to the vision, prepare your own roadmap, which will become very easy.
Yes. It's very important that you said that you receive the job when you are in third year only.
Yes.
Because you are searching and you are doing the research out of the box, not
Yes,
just sitting in that circle.
From day one, as I mentioned, I know like this is, if I go in this way, I'll be able to reach, my destination. And I went according to that and I'm here today.
Whenever the data scientist or data analyst position come, the people thinks like, it's about the 2 position, but it's not about just about 2 position. There are the many job roles in the data center and data analytics like SQL developer, data visualization engineer,
report developer, report builder, MIS executive. There are so many positions.
Exactly. So you can do the research and check yourself that in which field
where you will fit.
Where you will fit in that any job, and start working on them, because choosing the one path is really important than going with the 10 paths.
True, because I know that nobody is choosing this path. None of my friends are in data science domain. They want to achieve, but they didn't start. And now they are into different, but they're in a good position. I'm not telling everyone got settled and they're in a very good position. But even they want to come in this domain, but they cannot do that now because they are into different roles. If you have any particular role, I know it is toughest, because when so many of my friends, they used to go in third year itself, as so many companies, they were coming. I can see most of them are going to attend the interviews, where I was not going there because that is not my cup of tea. I want the particular job role, and that's not the same. I was looking outside. I was not at all, concentrating there. But I'm not telling people to not to concentrate there. It completely depends upon their, mindset and their vision. It is left to them.
Exactly, because when we are in the college, that time when campus are coming, we have the pressure from the staff side also, and from from parent side also, that now the job role is coming, you can go and attend the jobs, attend the interviews, let's see whatever happens. Everyone should take the example of Meghna ma'am, that they go out of the box. It's very important. When you go out of the box, you will
learn many things.
Exactly, and you will learn many things. Your approach get more, and you get to understand. Getting the job is not just about the campus thing. There are the many thousands of sources you can get the job. Just don't depend on the campus thing. And what you want to do, you should be clear and do that only.
True. That should be the mindset. That is a positive mindset, and that's a positive approach for you towards your profession. See, till now, until 10th, you used to listen to your schoolmates, teachers, parents. Later, you will come to 11th and 12th, where you will expose a bit more. You will learn about different courses. Again, coming to degree, you still, you have again more things to learn, and not just you're learning with the books what you have, but also with the technologies, surrounding you. You will be learning that. So when you are learning something which you have not learned earlier, when it is new, you also have to start looking something for new where you can fit yourself in that particular position. We cannot follow what others are also following. We can just guide people to do this or to do that, but they should have their own vision, to achieve their goals. They have to make themselves, to understand, okay, if this is the path, then this is what I need to take the precaution. If I want to go in that way, accordingly, they have to choose it, and they have to choose it wisely, because again and again, we won't get the time back.
That, ma'am, when the students are in third year or the final year, they get confused with the which stream they choose, because college time we learn the many subjects. Like I am from the CS background, computer, so we have the Java also, we have the machine learning
Mobile
also, we have the
application.
cloud also. So at time we get confused that for one job role we have to choose the one roadmap. Then why we are learning for this Java also and the AWS part also? Because that time these things are not much advanced. Nowadays get advanced. But I think somewhere the education system also get improved to choose the one job role from the starting, because
That is
for the specialized subject comes in final year, not in second or third year.
Not in second year, third year,
Exactly.
because in first year, as I mentioned earlier, we have all the subjects. Whether even though you are from CS, you used to learn about electronics. You got to know what is a mechanical engineer. One or two subjects we used to have it, and CAD tool also we have learned, which has been used by civil engineers and also mechanical engineers. True. See, our education system is in such a way that people will learn all the general things. Whatever first year you will be learning, it is completely general topics what you will be learning as a human. They are not, education system is not making you to study just one particular job role in India especially. Okay, they are making you to have a knowledge on all the industries, where by end of fourth year you may go and fit in any of the job role. That is their mindset. But when you start, second year or third year, you will go and understand the core of the subject what you have chosen. Coming to final year, where you again, you will be concentrating on the roles, the courses which will be helpful for your roles. I mean, the different roles and responsibilities. So when you are in second year and third year, where you have a very good opportunity for you to know core of all the topics what you have. So if you are really interested to know about cloud computing, you can choose that. Or if you are completely into web development or application development, you can go for Java. Or if you're really interested in AWS, learn AWS basics in your second year or third year. Then you can start, enhancing your knowledge more and more. You can start choosing that as an internship subject, where you will be able to get a very good exposure. So that second year and third year is a very crucial. By the time itself, you should be clear in choosing the subject and also choosing the job role for future. That will really help you to get a job, and and also the vision of your job, what exactly you want, you will be able to learn with that second and third year itself.
So, ma'am, my next point of discussion is about you said that you do the research at daily basis and keep yourself updating. So, what are the things that help you to get updating yourself, like self-learning things, like you follow any specific website, specific YouTube channel, any specific book, and also the freshers should follow that, update themselves.
Okay, so if they are really want to know more about how organizations are going on, for example, as I mentioned, I do research. I'll just go and check what are the new innovations which are coming in. For me, I'll go and check for my organization who are the competitors, what new things they are getting, and what I can do myself to learn the things so that I can also implement in my project. And I personally use Medium towards data science and some LinkedIn groups like related to data science and analytics, as I'm in that domain. I have just registered in some groups there, and I'll be getting daily notifications about new libraries which are coming in, new technologies which are coming in Python. So that I'll come back, I'll implement with the sample data. Personally, I'll do first, and then if it is feasible, I'll do all the risk analysis and the check, and then I can go and implement it in my project. So I'll be not every day I'll be researching while going in a cab and coming back. I'll be using LinkedIn or towards data science to gain more knowledge on the topics. And weekends, especially Saturday and Sunday like this, I'll sit and I'll implement and check personally first how it works. If it is feasible only, I'll be proceeding further. If not, it is something like a thing which I can learn, and I'll be having a knowledge on that. It will never be wasted. In one or the other day, it will be useful. And
Yes.
these are the websites like towards data science, Medium, GitHub, LinkedIn, where especially that Medium and towards data science, people will be posting their projects and their insights on the data. They will also share the data set which you can get it, and you can also practice it, or you can do your own way of analysis and you can project it. Okay, this is what you have analyzed. With this, I went one step higher and I did this analysis. Because of this, I just got so and so savings, or have done some predictions on this. So these are the new predictions which can be implemented further. Because if I'm building any project today, that is not the end. I need to enhance my project again, updates which I'll be doing within next 1 or 2 years. So I need to be prepared for that. No, so that is how it goes. You are implementing new techniques to the existing project so that it will be used for the future.
So, ma'am, my next point of discussion is about the personal project. How the role of personal projects plays in our entire career, and what type of personal projects you done when you are entering in the industry.
So as I mentioned you earlier, like I used to, almost I did 12 months of internship there. After completing the internship, also I did my projects on chatbot because that is the trend. I cannot say trend, but that is useful now. And I did that after. While working on certain projects, that projects was given for me by that organization itself, like the internship organization itself. They gave me the project. It's a startup company, so they gave me the data and they gave me the complete description about what I need to do for that project. I did end-to-end project and I deployed it as well. After completion of that, I started, doing my own projects that is on chatbot and computer vision, which really helped me to gain more knowledge about, the data and about different data sets. Like data cannot be always in CSV or Excel, right? It can be video, audio, or it can even be an image. So I expose myself to all the different data types what is available, and then I completed my chatbot related projects and machine work related project, automation related projects using VBA. So I have done in all the tools. Like I used Excel also, I used Google Colab also, and I also used some other third party tools. I've also used Power BI Tableau for report building, and yes, I projected that, and that's really helpful because few organization will concentrate on Power BI. Few organization needs you to know Tableau, isn't it? So when I'm giving my resume to all the organization, or when I'm applying it, my resume should cover all the tools. My resume should be completely like, okay, this is a data scientist profile where he or she knows all the tools whichever is available. These are when you know that Excel is must and should, of course you should do some projects on that. When you know that Tableau and Power BI, any one of the tool is needed, of course you should do that. So in that way, make sure you complete the projects with all the tools which are available, because this is open source and we can do it easily without paying anything. That is what I have used.
Ma'am, my next point of discussion is about how do you see the impact of recession and competition in data industry. The recession is still going on and everyone knows that the competition is too high nowadays.
That's what to avoid recession and to get more good opportunities, I request people to update themselves by learning new technologies, and do not stick on to one particular organization for more than 3 or 4 years. If you have a learning mindset, you cannot sit in one organization for 3 or 4 years. So at minimum of 3 years you can spend there, you can learn the things, and if you get a good opportunity, try moving. That means moving in. I'm not making people to leave their job, but let me tell you, so this is how the learning mindset usually work, because if you are working in one organization for more than 3 years, you will completely be in that comfort zone. If you are getting some new challenges, it is fine, but if you are not getting any new challenges, then it's a time for you to learn the things and to proceed further in your future. So competitions are there, recession is also going on. I request people to upgrade themselves with the new skills which is needed for with their domain, of course. Smart enough in handling the things goes.
So, Meghna ma'am, my next point of discussion is about the many of the non-tech students, like from commerce and arts background, they are getting into the tech industry for the data analyst or data science job role. So, what the roadmap you will suggest to them that you should follow this roadmap or get into this field or transit your career from the non-tech to the tech background?
So to honestly answer this question, let me tell you, data science domain is not just expecting you people to do the coding. Of course, coding is here. Coding like Python, SQL, we need to know. But apart from it, you also should know the usage of tools like Power BI, Tableau, Excel, the research mindset or the analytical mindset you should have. It's not always about coding here, but when I talk about web developer or any kind of application software developers, they are completely into coding. For them, all these analysis or thinking out of the box, apart from their coding, it is not there. Like business concentration or analyzing, discussion with the stakeholders, that is not their cup of. But when I talk about data science domain, you should be having a very good knowledge on business. You should be having a very good research mindset. You should be having a knowledge on other tools like Excel, apart from SQL and Python. Like as I mentioned, Excel, Power BI, Tableau, Google Analytics. There are so many tools which are available. So it's not just about a coding part here. A person should have a equal knowledge on technical and non-technical skills, and also soft skills like effective communication or data storytelling, decision making, then stakeholder management. All All these are very important. So if you are having a very good knowledge on all these tools and techniques, or the soft skills which I mentioned, then it is easy for a person to get a job. That is why, as I mentioned, business knowledge or business understanding a person should have. So that is the main reason why people from BBA, BBM, BCom, even they can join this career, because we have a separate role called as business analytics. For business analyst, if you want to join as a business analyst, you should have a very good knowledge on how you're going to take the business from the stakeholders. You should also have a very good knowledge on project management there, which is not coding related, and where SQL is here, SQL and Python is there. But apart from it, we also check some other tools and techniques, which is very much important. So that is why people there will gain some knowledge, doing the internship, or by working as an intern in some organization, they will gain some experience there, and then they are moving towards IT or corporate jobs related, they are joining. It is there. There are so many options available, as you mentioned. It is not just one or two, like data analyst or data science. No, there are analyst position, finance analyst, product analyst, and supply chain analyst, or order management analyst, customer analyst, how to deal with the customer, how to deal with the customer data. We have a separate position called as customer analyst, where you will not work into coding. You are an analyst, you are a data analyst, but customer data analyst, it again completely depends upon the job role, what the organization is expecting. So it's not that always coding is important. Including coding, we also have other techniques which is needed here. That is one thing.
There is the one section like many students think that data analytics or data science field, it depends upon all the coding and analytic part. They don't focus on the communication skill. That is called soft skill. It is how it is true that the communication skill is not important for the data analyst.
See, let me tell you, effective communication skill is, there is one course itself dedicated for that. Effective communication and data storytelling. You might have come across a course. If you want to become a data scientist, then data storytelling is mandatory. Working the effective communication for soft skills only, there is a separate course. When you can see there is a separate course only for data storytelling, means you will be able to understand how important it is. And let me tell you, I'm working on a data now. You are also working on the same data. The way you do the analysis is different. The way I do the analysis is different. Whatever the analysis I'll be doing, I know what I have done. People, by looking into the Excel, or by looking into the SQL code, or by looking into the report, they will not be able to understand. You have to explain what you have done, what analysis you have done. And the way you explain them is all about data storytelling. And creating a story, it's not something like I'm creating my own story. No, you have to keep data as a reference. Only depending upon the data you need to speak. It's not something like a fake story we're gonna create by looking into, okay, there is a forest, in a forest there is a tree. No, it's not like that. Take data as a reference. Take the data as a complete reference. Story in the sense, what how did you extract the data? What is the next procedure you have taken? After analyzing the data, what insights you are extracting from the data? After getting the insights from the data, what is the decision we can consider with this insights? Can we prepare any model out of it? Which model will help you to get a very good accuracy score? So the complete end-to-end information, you gonna talk with your stakeholders or to your top managers what you have done, and you're gonna explain them. And that is where effective communication plays a major role. Not just in data science domain, wherever you go, whichever organization it is, whichever job role it is, effective communication plays a major role. And here it is very important, because when I'm working with the data, I know my mindset, I know my research mindset, how well I did the research. How can I tell them? Of course, via communication. So communication is very important, and it's needed more than 100%, I can say.
It's just not about the hard skills, the soft skills are also very important in the tech industry. So, ma'am, when I go through your LinkedIn profile, that time I saw you had the good volunteer experience in NHS camp. So, can you please tell us that how the things you learn in the voluntary experience or the not in the college, that helps you in the professional building?
So when it comes to NSS, NGOs, like non-profit organization, they will be conducting some events where you go voluntarily and participate there. First thing what we will learn over there is to understand people's opinion. When you go do some volunteer, it's not that, you will go in mindset that what they're gonna say, you're gonna listen it. Your mindset will be that you are going there to serve. The main purpose of volunteer is to serve. So when you're serving someone, of course, you will learn the patience, you will learn how to understand others' opinion, how we have to react to others' feeling. And that will really help in professional career, because when you are going to a new organization, you will not know anyone. You all know is your manager who took the interview, your HR who hired you with all the documents, and you might have communicated with them on call. You don't know anyone personally. So when you go and treat strangers, you should have that pleasing mindset. Pleasing mindset, and also as it is completely new for you, you have to understand them and they will also understand. The way you project yourself plays a major role in any of the organization, not just in data science or anything. I'm just talking in general. Whichever domain you go, the way you showcase yourself, the way you project yourself to strangers or to new people, it plays a major role, and you will learn the things when you are doing some volunteer activities, because you are meeting strangers there. You are serving people there. When you serve people outside, whoever is not related to your work, then it is easy for you to talk to people or to serve the people who already know the work. So there is a difference. So it is easy for you to mingle with people or to take people's opinion and to work according to them. Because when you go and work under your manager, whatever the task they have given to you, you need to complete it. They have hired you based on your profile or based on your experience. They will hire you. But the task, whatever they are giving, you should do that. You should have the pleasing mindset to go back and ask what are the needs, what is their need, what they're exactly expecting. You will do in your own way. Later, you will go back and adjust as per your manager's requirement. So that thing you will learn a lot there. Patience, humbleness, and also decision making will be there, and the pleasing mindset, communication also you will be able to learn there, and you will be able to understand others' opinion before you put your words. Before you start talking about your own thoughts, you will first go stand according to them, and you will analyze it. So that is very much needed here.
Yes, because nowadays the students are investing more money to learn the soft skill like communication skill, team building, and anything.
True.
But the volunteer experience is a thing where you can go and just experience this all the things. You can go this process, you go with all the process, and you get to learn all the things. When
True.
you are in college, you don't have to invest any special time for or special money for this.
And you will be having more free time than now. Now we have to see, I need to check my calendar before I give someone, I'll come out there, or if I need to give some time, I need to go check my calendar. But during those days, I was completely free and I can just go take my path over there and I can learn the things. That is the only, option where you have to learn the things with a free mindset.
So, ma'am, my next point of discussion is about, are you planning to do a further education like master degree abroad, anything? And do you think is it important to do?
I actually wanted to do, but when I was, discussing the same thing with my friends, they were like, no, you're already in a good position. Why you want to do that? But for me, learning is very important. And yes, I have a plan, but not now. It takes time. I have some other personal responsibilities also, which I need to take over. Few people will say, no, degree cannot decide your future, or some other, fake things will come. But let me tell you, degree paper, or if it is master's, it will decide your future. Because to be honest, when I attended some of the interviews, I got to know that, people are especially looking for, IIT, IIM, or some top engineering colleges. But why? It's not just, if you are from IIT or IIM, they feel that, people who are graduating from top, colleges, they have more exposure towards the world. Organizations will think, but somewhere it is true. But that doesn't mean that if you are from a normal college, that doesn't mean that you will not get a job. But people are looking for IITians. There's no doubt in that. But you should, if you are having a very good skills, then why not? You will of course crack the interview and you will do the best. And masters, yes, it is there in my bucket list, but not currently.
So, what you will suggest, that doing the masters in India is right or doing in abroad?
See, doing masters, if it is related to data science, then they can do it in abroad or even in India. But if they really want to go abroad and settle down, then of course it is a very good path, because this is the right age for us to study or to learn the things. So if you really want to go learn something new or to go abroad and work, they can do that. If not, here also, like masters in the sense, you will be having in MBA also. Now they have included business analytics, data science, artificial intelligence. So MBA degree also you have, like master's degree in data science, AI, ML. We have that options now. Anywhere, it depends completely on their mindset. And also, it's when I talk about a master's or something, of course it will be expensive if they go abroad, and they also need to take care of their personal things. So looking into all that, they have to take their decision. But yes, if you want to settle there, it's good to go. If not, then in India also, there are so many colleges where they will offer very good courses. They can take it up.
So, ma'am, we want to know that what is the one mistake you have done in your personal life, and how do you learn from that mistake?
Yeah, when I was doing my internship, I actually started, my internship, data science internship. I did for 12 months, but as a business analyst, I also also worked for 1 year. That is during my third year. Before I joined Flipkart, I worked for 1 year as a business analyst. It's not a mistake, but it was a startup, as I already mentioned. So you have to be very careful when you're joining a startup. In the initial stages, the company was going very good, and they used to get funds and everything was going fine. But due to manager's mistake, I mean manager in the sense, we were a team of 15 members. The company owner's mistake. Because of his mistake, the whole team, as a business analyst, I was also working as a project manager there, in touch with the stakeholder, and also I was in touch with the manager. I was also in touch with the developers. I'm in middle now. Okay, all the team, like almost 10 to 12 members of team,
Breach.
I'm handling, and also I'm reporting it to manager directly. I'm also connecting with the stakeholders who are giving us the task. It's basically a software development company where they're developing the applications. So one time, because of his own personal decision, what happened was he was not paying salary to all the developers. He was not paying, and that completely ruined the team culture. And there I was not aware about it, that he will run away without telling any of us. So it's not a decision, but yes, I promised my developers that they will receive the salary on time. But yes, I promised, as a it's like I'm acting as a project manager there. And as it is a startup, when you are working in a startup, you cannot just do one task. You have to look into
Multiple tasks.
you have to look into all the process, all the tasks. I was working as a HR, I was working as a project manager, I was working as a developer also, I was also working as a business development executive. So it's like something like a multitask. I promised developers to do the task, and they will be getting their salary on time, but it was not happened. Even I didn't get my salary till now. It was almost 3 months of salary, even I didn't receive it. But one thing what I promised them was, I'll tell you, please, I informed them before itself, please start looking for a new jobs. They all got their jobs, but still they were working here as a part-time, to get the payment. They used to be in touch with us, and they got their payment, not completely, some half amount they got. When they were here only, they got their job also, and they left. But I really informed them. That is one good thing what I did. But the thing is, I was not able to give them the complete payout. That one thing, which I can say that it's a mistake. One more mistake is, we didn't have any good agreement papers there. So that agreement papers, or the rules, the policies, the policy papers, it's where it should be there with all the employees. One thing what I will tell, please go through each and every point. As this was a startup, he was not having any of the papers, and there was no PF, because it was a team of 15 members. For you to go and apply for a startup and also private limited and PF, minimum of 30 members should be there. So he had no papers, and we also wanted a job, and it was all the COVID beginning it was. So people who wanted work from home, for them it was easy. So they all said yes, 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 and they worked. They got money. It's not like no, but somewhere they didn't get it come. But whatever they have received, it is worth. So that is why we have to be very careful when we are choosing some startups.
Startup capital of India, known for as a Bengaluru. Because freshers, more about the freshers, they should look into this, because experienced people knows all the processes and all the policies, how they work. But fresher have the zero knowledge about these things.
They are looking for a job. They just need a job.
Job, exactly. They just need a job. They want to switch the job. They don't read the document. They directly sign the documents, but don't go with this flow. And there are the many resources like YouTube. You go through that, you learn the things. What the there are some of the lawyers. They suggest us the many things. You go through their videos. You learn from them. It's very important.
It's very important to go, because when there is no PF, that means you can clearly say that it's a sole proprietorship. Like he will be having his own thing or his own doc. We are not sure whether they have it or not, because it was completely work from home. Who will go to his place? As I'm in Bangalore, even he was in Bangalore. For me, it was very easy to go and check his place to do some investigation. But for the people who are sitting almost in some other states, one of the employee, he is from Kerala. Okay, so he cannot come from Kerala to here, but it's almost he was about to get 80,000 something. He would have come, but he didn't come. I don't know why. He got half of the amount and he left. But I informed them clearly, please look into the new jobs. Please don't ruin your career. So it's very important for us to check thoroughly about the company. There are so many fake recruiters who will call, who will take the complete details from you, who will process your profile also. They'll say that they'll also make you to pay. So please don't go for any kind of payment options, because if they are genuine, then they will not ask you to pay anything, because they will be get paid from the organization itself. If they send some employees, they will be paid from them though. So why they want for us to pay 300 rupees, 500 rupees? Please don't go for all this. Really difficult. It's not just about getting a job, but also we should not lose our money, because when we don't have a job, we'll go and search. We eagerly want our job. Don't pay anything because that's not genuine. Because when I was searching for a job, even I paid. Honestly speaking, I paid. Even I lost my money. So that to 300, 400 rupees. That was during my first year of engineering. I wanted to do some part-time job to get more knowledge. So I just wanted to do that. I was searching here and there. LinkedIn was new to me during the time, and I paid 300 rupees. That's near to Bangalore itself. I paid 300 rupees. They told me that they will get me a job, and it's near Whitefield. You will get insurance, you will get cab, you will get food. They'll speak in such a way that you're gonna give them, instead of 300, you're gonna give them 500. They will say they will give all promises, but later when you go check tomorrow, they will not be there at all in that place. So I've
Even still in
experienced.
2024, I also received the scam calls like your resume is selected for the Google and we are going to
Uh,
schedule the interview. You have just pay the 500 rupees
I
because
know.
if you selected, we have to send you the kit of the
Uh,
employee kit.
Yeah, so I've seen all this, dramas happening. So we have to be very careful. So whenever you
Yes.
receive any kind of calls or regarding any third-party payroll or any contract-related job, do the complete investigation about the company. Go check in LinkedIn or get some connection over there. Go investigate who are they. Are you receiving the right call or not? That's your right to investigate, because people will call, but we should not fool ourselves. We have to go and check it out, and then only we have to take the action.
Where do you see India in next 5 years in the terms of the data science? The next thing is that how the companies are growing as a fresher. Which type of company the fresher should join? Is the startup product based or the service based?
So to answer your first question next, as I mentioned you earlier, I can say what will happen for next 2 or 3 years. I will not guarantee what will happen for next 5 or 6 years. So to answer this question, you already know how India is developing, how it was 10 years before and how it is now. Everywhere you can see metro. In each and every metro station, you will be able to see all automated metro tickets available. You will be able to book the tickets online. From last 10 years, if I compare now, people are more into data science and artificial intelligence, because that is the innovation. The things are getting innovated. The smartphones, what we have, or the laptops, what we have, the tools or the facilities, what we are getting, especially in terms of electronics, it is more. So now you can see, a very lightweighted washing machine or some the newly generated, AI based, refrigerators. Like if you tap, you will be able to see the things which is available inside the fridge. So yes, I was going through an article that's on a Samsung refrigerator where you will be able to get an alert on the products if it is getting spoiled or not. Inside the refrigerator, you have kept something. You just have to tap you just have to touch that refrigerator fridge, and it will unlock the fridge. Then you can open it. So there are new techniques, new technologies which are coming in, and this is completely based on AI and robotics. Everywhere you can see, in all the industries, and ChatGPT is one such example where you are getting the things done with the help of ChatGPT. And let me tell you, ChatGPT is a tool. Few people will be in the mindset, will ChatGPT replace humans? I cannot say yes, I cannot say no, because according to me, ChatGPT will not replace humans, because we are making use of ChatGPT. We are the owners of ChatGPT. We are creating the ChatGPT. And how can I say, people to lose their job with ChatGPT? Well, they are the creators. They know how to enhance its performance, and they know what best they can do it in the future. So it will not replace, but there are some chances of, delayed in hiring, because when ChatGPT is giving you more and more information, your efficiency in working will increase. When your efficiency will increase, the way you complete your project, instead of completing within 10 days, you're completing now within 5 days. The TAT is getting reduced. Because of this, there are less job opportunities, but that doesn't mean that humans will be replaced. So that one, difference which we all need to know. They are not replacing humans, but they are creating more and more opportunities, but that will be delayed. Instead of hiring 1,000 people, they are hiring 500 people, but they will again hire those 500 people maybe after some days. No, not today, because they need to gain more opportunities, right? So they are, of course, they are creating jobs. I'm not telling no, but it will take some time. And yes, because of new opportunities which are coming in, even government officials or government industries or government related products, whatever they are also converting everything to online. Instead of, before, like, you used to go directly to a PF office, you have to stand in a queue, get your PF done. But now it's automated. You can just go, link your Aadhaar, link your PAN, link your bank details. Everything will be done automatically with the website. You can give all your details. You will be able to see after 2 or 3 days, you will receive a message that your bank account is been linked. So they are also implementing all this. So there are no chances of, removing people from the industries, but it completely depends upon the skills skills what the employee is having. So it will be improved. More and more opportunities will come in data science and artificial intelligence domain, but people should have the same knowledge. They should be different. They should be unique. So that is one thing I can say.
Yes, the talented girl from the Bengaluru, Silicon Valley, Meghan,
Nama
Miss
Bengaluru.
Meghna. Thank you so much for the your
Yes.
valuable knowledge you shared today. It's really gonna help for all the students and the aspirants in today also in future also to get into the data industry. You share a really amazing things and the ground level reality you show everything. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, for this time and the discussion and the questions, whatever you asked, it was really good. And yes, currently I'm working as a data scientist, and yes, there are so many opportunities which is coming in. So please concentrate on that. That's what I can tell to people. Learn the things. Always keep learning. Then only you will be able to succeed and to sustain. We know that
Yes, yes.
sustainable industry and the growing, learning, new enhancements, and it is all possible with learning only. So that is fine. To sustain, we have to learn.
Please let me know in the comment which guest would you like to see on this podcast and any specific topics you would like us to discuss with them. We will try to bring those guests and ask your questions so you will get more helpful information. Before you go, share this episode with someone. It might really help them because one conversation can change a person's life, giving them a new idea and direction. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in next video.